Hi everyone, it's Helen Hortai here, founder of Form Help, and today we are looking at how to apply for public housing in New Zealand. And if you're not sure how to go about doing that, let's go and do it together. And we are in the workandincome.gov.nz website, and I will post a link in the description box below. But today we are looking at housing, so let's go ahead and go into the housing tab, find a house. Now it says find a house. If you need to find a place to live, we may be able to help you. You may be able to apply for public or social housing or get some ideas on where to look for private housing. If you have nowhere to stay right now, we may be able to help you find somewhere until you can get something longer term. Okay, we're going to be looking at public housing here. So if you can't afford a private rental, you may be able to live in a public house where the government pays part of the rent. These are houses that are rented out by Kāinga Ora, which used to be Housing New Zealand, and other community housing providers. You need to meet certain criteria to qualify for public housing. If you apply, you may have to wait for a while until a suitable property becomes available. So who can get public housing? Let's have a look. So if you want to apply to live in public or social housing, you need to meet a certain criteria. So let's look at that criteria. So age and residency. Now you must be 16 or older. You also need to meet one of these residency criteria, which is you're a NZ citizen, you have a resident visa or permanent resident visa and have lived in NZ continuously for at least 2 years since getting in, you're recognised as a refugee by Immigration New Zealand, you're recognised as a protected person by Immigration New Zealand, you're getting a main benefits from us, example job seeker support, or you fit into one of these categories. You have a Christchurch responsive visa, you get Christchurch mosque attack assistance, or you get a special needs grant because you came to NZ on a temporary visa to be with your NZ partner and your relationship ended due to domestic violence. Okay, so you must meet at least one of these criteria here. Now let's look at serious housing need. Now you must have a serious housing need. This means we'll look at things like your current housing situation, including the property's physical condition, if the property has basic living facilities, overcrowding, how secure your tenancy is, whether your current property or area is safe for you and suitable for your medical or physical needs, whether you could afford to rent privately, how difficult it is to find a private rental that meets your needs, and whether you could manage long-term in a private rental. Let's look at the income and assets. Generally, you will need to have an income under $655.41 a week, that's after tax, if you're single with no children, and $1,008.33 a week after tax if you have a partner or children. Now your cash assets needs to be worth less than $42,700. If you have income or assets worth more than this, you may still qualify for public housing. It depends on your situation. Let's go ahead and apply for public housing. Now, apply for public housing. Find out how to apply for public or social housing. If you're in urgent housing need and have nowhere to live now or in the next 7 days, call this number here, Working Income, on 0800 559 009 or Senior Services on 0800 552 002 if you get NZ Super or Veterans Pension. Now this is the application process. We'll start with step 1, which is call us. So you need to call them on 0800 559 009. If you get NZ Super or Veterans Pension, call Senior Services on 0800 552 002. Step 2, discuss your situation. We'll talk with you about your situation and look at ways we can help you. This includes checking what support you might be able to get to move into private housing, for example, help with rent or bond. If we think you may qualify for public housing, we'll book a housing assessment interview for you. This is usually done over the phone, but you can come in and see us if you would prefer. Now, who can get public housing? So if you click on that tab there, it will tell you who can get public housing. We will get to that. I'll just read support person or interpreter. So if you want a support person at your interview, you can organise to have one with you. If you can't speak English, you can bring someone to interpret for you, or we can find an interpreter for you. Just let us know so we can organise this. Step 3, attend an interview. So the interview will take about an hour, and we'll talk to you about your situation and the type of housing you need. Confirm you meet the criteria for public housing. You'll need to tell us at least 3 areas where you could live so you can be matched to a suitable property. Now, the documents you need to provide. We'll also ask you to gather some documents and drop them off to one of our service centres. We'll let you know what documents you need to get. These could be proof of who you are, such as your birth certificate, passport or driver licence, proof of any income after tax you've got in the last 52 weeks, such as wages, holiday pay, family tax credits, and any other income, proof of any assets you have and their value, your business accounts if you have your own business, trust documents if you're involved in a trust, such as trust deed, deed of debt, gift statements or accounts, 4 birth certificates for each dependent child in your care. We may ask you to bring the same documents for other members of your household who are moving with you. Household members are people who permanently live with you. Now, step 4 is wait for a property. Now, if you qualify for public housing, you'll go on the social housing register. The register has details of people who need public housing and the type of property they need. We'll pass the register on to housing providers who will let you know when a suitable property becomes available. There are some things you'll need to do while you're waiting to get into public housing. Now let's have a look at what that is. Waiting for public housing. So once you apply for public housing, you need to wait until a suitable property becomes available. You'll also need to tell us if your situation changes while you're waiting. Now, how long you have to wait? Now, the length of time you have to wait depends on how urgently you need a property, how quickly a suitable property becomes available, what your needs are, the number of other people waiting with urgent needs. People with the greatest needs are placed first when suitable properties become available. A suitable property is one that meets your housing needs as agreed during your interview. While waiting for a property, it's important to keep looking for other options like rental properties in the private market. There's a link there to find private housing. Now tell us if something changes. Now, while you're waiting to get into a public house, you must let us know straight away about any changes in your and your partner's, if you have one, circumstances. This could be changes to your address and phone number, income or financial circumstances, family or household arrangements. If you don't let us know, you might not be able to get a property that best meets your needs, or you may no longer qualify for public housing. We may also contact you to talk about your circumstances. It's important that you answer our calls or letters. We may think you no longer need public housing and cancel your application. Step 5. Accept a public housing offer. If a housing provider makes you an offer for a property and it meets your needs, you can accept this by signing the tenancy agreement. Accepting a public housing offer. Accepting a public housing offer. If a housing provider makes you an offer for a property and it suits your needs, you can accept this by signing the tenancy agreement. The housing provider will contact you and invite you to view the property. If you're happy with it, you'll sign a tenancy agreement with the housing provider. They'll then become your landlord. The tenancy agreement sets out your rights and responsibilities and the landlord's rights and responsibilities. Now, if you don't accept the offer, If an offer for a property comes up, you can choose not to accept it if you have a good reason. Example, there are stairs which you find hard to climb because you've had a knee replacement. If you don't accept the offer, you don't have a good reason, we'll check that you still qualify for public housing. This means you must have a serious and immediate housing need. If you don't, you may be taken off the social housing register. If you apply for public housing within 13 weeks, we'll look at your decision to decline the offer when checking if you meet the criteria. And that concludes our video for today. I hope that those looking to apply for public housing within New Zealand found this helpful, and all the best on your application. Now please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you feel inclined to do so. This is Helen Hortai, founder of Form Help, signing out. Have a wonderful day everyone.